That's only a few available, so everybody has to. So we're definitely investing in stock.
So it sounds like we are like a shareholder of one of the company, and the company invests the money to whatever they do. So I don't know why we need to like advance it, because this is a business to business, and if I have money, I can donate my money wherever I want, as long as it is not the money from the fee or the taxpayer. So I don't understand why we need to divest it. I'm going to when I come to
I think the end of the day, the reason we need to create our money invested in the company is because of human rights reasons, because that makes us complicit. We need to be socially responsible and really make sure our university is socially responsible. Just like we have in the past, just like very recently we decided to announce SB 62, SB 1070. Why are we continuing to invest in companies that are we decided that SB 1062 was a law that would protect human beings, and so we why are we continuing to invest in companies?
Sorry. So I have a yes or no question to you. So if the company redirects the money to the company still can invest the money for Israel, is yes or no?
So to make it clear, Caterpillar is contracted Caterpillar is contracted by the Israeli government to build a specific bulldozer in Myanmar. It's a heavily militarized bulldozer and it's used for the human rights reasons for the construction of the wall and the local. That's why we
My question is, if we divest it, can the company still invest the money to Israel?
45 seconds.
Yeah, but then we will not be complicit. As long as we're not complicit. The purpose of this bill is so that ASU will not be complicit.
So I have another question to any of you guys. How many shares we ASU purchase? Because the more share we have, the more power we have. If we only have like 0. something% of the shares, there's a way that is very helpful to do this motion.
15 seconds.
Okay, in regards to what I said, we have a little more than $120,000 of basic condition money items there. And there is mentioned in the bill, there are federal laws that Republicans like basically from investing money in territory. An example being an organization like Hamas. And in light of that, it's a good thing. So I want to go on to so I just want to say we just made this a half an hour, almost a day. I'm honestly a little bit embarrassed to guys because there's only one bill on the board, and that's what we need today. That's what it's taking. We spend all this time talking about that. You paying for us in tuition, and you didn't get it today. I think
The bill was copied. published on the USG website as well as USG country senators UK.
I want to go over what I'm saying is, we should at least have the opportunity to debate it. I think it's like, I really hope that people fill out that debate, hoping that, hopefully, all the people that can't, at least it's a little bit.
Without clarification, the reason why we moved to the did not move to the secretary is because the person who introduced this bill did not move to the motion to the secretary. He moved to the motion to the table. This is why all the senators stop. That is why all the senators agree with the motion to table the bill. It is not because we don't want to second grade, it's because the person who introduced this did not move this motion to the second grade.
I presented the bill to more dialogue about it's silly to say that just because I didn't motion to put it in second reading, that I wanted to take it.
It is time.
Without clarity.
On what Senator Moorhead just said? You still have time, but they're clarifying.
I think the other reason why we tabled this bill because Senator Moorhead did have
That's not, is this part of your, what you said, or are you asking a question?
no.
Is it about explicitly what he just said? Or are you adding new information?
Senator Moorhead
The camera closes.
I think that is another reason why we tabled it.
How do you know who's watching?
Should be debated. And I think internal politics are also important as well, but I don't think we also need to talk about that. I don't think that was what should have been talked about for the majority of this meeting. Or on the person. And I think Senator Moorhead accidentally opposing the first reading to the second reading, Secretary Maxey, that didn't indicate a desire for it not to the second reading.
I checked it because I thought, saying we go to the table, or saying that some of the parts of this. I thought that was all, and go bring it in second reading on the meeting.
I think everybody knew that even the bill is, would at least allow it to want that. I think that Thursday talked about, supporting that, it wasn't a function of that, I think part of that from the mentioned is a problem, but they became so important. So I don't really understand why it should be table when it's on second reading, an open debate, next April first meeting should be done. And I think I'd like to, come back to the more.
I can speak. My name is Colorado Mott. I'm the former chair of the University Affairs Committee 2 years ago. One of the things we wanted to do was to engage people in USG. This is an opportunity. Bringing all of us here, I'm with SDI, they're with SDI. It's a good opportunity to talk about it. Thank you.
My name is Cindy Montevideo. I am the representative of Computer. I have first the responsibility. I believe that what we as ASU investment is reflective of what we stand for. So regardless of who, not not regardless, but taking out the equation and who is affected, I feel like the question should be, is Title IV reflective of the values and responsibilities that we as New American University uphold or seek to uphold? I feel like that's the first one at hand right now. And then my second thing is, I would like to urge everyone, on behalf of the company, I would like to urge everyone to change our continuing growth indefinitely, and go to 7. So the fact that we have students who are present here to support this bill and who would like to discuss it, should be reason enough to allow this and any bill that affects the student community attached to section 8 and allow us space and time to discuss the various views on the bill being promoted. In my personal opinion, I feel it is important to thoroughly review, discuss, and answer any questions on all items that affect our ASU student community and that are brought forward. That is the reason why they have been brought forward. And to speak on definitely does not allow us, does not give us space for it. So what as the undergraduate student government at Arizona State University, what are we doing by keeping these laws?
Point of information, just quickly, the ASU Foundation is an actual separate entity of ASU. So our public university is not the same thing as ASU Foundation. We work closely with them, but it is not ASU, the public university that we all go to. We work closely with other entities, but I just wanted to make that.
Point of information, obviously the bill can't force ASU or ASU Foundation to do anything. It's not like, the bill is.
I completely understand what the bill is, I'm just saying that they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that, when I was in industrialization, let me know exactly what people in
The land definitely needs to be wording of the city council, and we got back up, another Senate meeting, another, session. The bill can be reintroduced in the manner, so there's an issue, other times now to do it. That can happen, it's not, it's a wording of this particular thing. I'm not supposed to do it.
One information to motion to a bill about doing something slightly different. You can motion to take a bill from the
Not just in the it's just in the
if it's just in the water table.
it definitely needs to be worded into the
Okay, thank you.
everyone understand that? No, it's table to that, table and. I understand. I understand.
I have to say that I agree that talking about the issues in this world, both on campus, in Arizona, in the United States, and elsewhere. I believe that's my belief of that. But we can't do this from the Senate floor. This is not the place for this. As has been mentioned, ASU Foundation is not under our authority. We are wasting valuable time that could be spent on more productive pieces of legislation. This kind of an issue belongs in the setting of open dialogue, hosted by a third party, in which these kinds of issues can be debated and discussed in a civil manner, hosted by a third party on equal footing. This is not the time and place for this. In addition, I understand that this bill talks about human rights. I understand that this bill talks about boycotting just one company over just one issue. Unfortunately, what this bill does not address is why the IDF is demolishing homes in the West Bank. This bill does not address a very, very multifaceted issue and concern for our international community, which is the Israel-Palestine conflict. Instead, it takes one approach and it tries to use it to start addressing this problem. That is not the way to solve it. This is not
the body to start solving these issues. We're here for our students, and when we put forth legislation that targets students on this campus, that trashes countries, this is a very international campus. We set a very bad example, and we have a very bad image for ourselves at this campus and in this community. Once again, yes, this bill is about human rights. It talks about human rights on the text. But this is not what this legislation is truly about. The broader motive of this legislation is not just going to stop the power bill. It is about economically and politically isolating and marginalizing the state of Israel. That is what this is about. And if you want clarification on that, you can talk to me. You can look up more about Students for Justice in Palestine. You can look up more about their founder. You can look up more about what politicians and political leaders in South Africa have really said about the use of apartheid in this issue. But the bottom line is, this is not an issue that we should discuss here. I welcome an open dialogue hosted by a third party in a separate venue like this. But let's be civil here, and let's stick to issues that can really make a difference on this campus, and let's continue to fight to be an inclusive student body that does not turn our back on anyone, regardless of their political views or their country. I think.
So I have a question about, no, I don't have it, sorry. So I read a bill about the Senate Bill 67. It says a lot of universities, like all the universities, they resolve the problem. I just want to provide an example. It's not because of other people like Apple, so I should like Apple. It is because the situation, what is exactly the situation means. Then I decide to choose whether I agree or not. So I want to know how many organizations we handle. And the president raised your hand, please.
Could you repeat the question?
How many organizations? Only president, please raise your hand. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many? Which organization against this bill? Please raise your hand. 2, 3, 4, 5. Only the president, please. Only the president. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the other 3 organizations, are you support this bill? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so just now I heard a lot of comments from this group who supported. I want to listen more opinion from the group who against it. So I'm going to move my time to Jar for the some level for Israel to provide results.
How much time do I have?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? So,
30.
okay. There have been a lot of things said from the other side. I just want to start off with saying I'm very sorry, guys. It's actually really cool getting to see a Senate meeting for the first time. I wish I had done it before. Secondly, in regards to some of all the points that they said. One, I want to just state that the Palestinian Authority, which is active in Palestine, they actually have invested in Caterpillar themselves. You can look up on Palestine/tractor.ps. So if we're going to divest from it, I think it's kind of weird that they're investing in it as well. Second, they say that this is pro-peace. Pro-peace is not one-sided. If we want pro-peace, we do a bill that says ASU supports a two-state solution. Then everybody wins in that. Okay? We're not here to say that we don't believe in a Palestinian state. We're not here to say that we're not going to recognize them. We believe that they should have their own state. But we believe that the facts that they're saying in this bill are very fraudulent. One, as well, Senator Smith said, a lot of the buildings that are being destroyed are illegal. Just as in Arizona, if you don't have a license to sell the building, it's going to be destroyed as well. So that happens, and these really buildings as well get destroyed, not just Palestinians, so that should be said. And my personal feeling for this, and I don't know about them, because he said that we don't have an open dialogue, and that's true. Separate from making bills, separate from making anything legal. Okay, this is the ASU Senate. You guys were elected by our students for ASU specific bills. We don't believe this is an ASU specific bill. This is happening in Congress right now. I know, he said before that we're not trying to do anything involving Congress, we're not trying to be them. This is trying to be Congress. You're taking a side, you're saying that Israel is doing an apartheid state, you're saying that they are doing these atrocities, you're saying they are violating human rights. One, the UN, you brought up, says that we are. I'd like to say that most of those sanctions, the majority of the countries that put the sanctions on us were mostly Middle Eastern, more than 80%. So think that as you will. I would say about that. There's so much more I can say, but I just want you guys to know that this is such a big topic that we would rather have a dialogue and let us talk to them. Yeah, they would like to make a bill so that they can get a win. Maybe not, I don't know. But we would like to talk it out first. We would not like to bring this to you guys and burden you with a subject that has been burdening governments for years to come. Clinton can do it. Bush can do it. I don't think Obama's going to be able to do it. I hope he can. It would be nice. I'd love to see him have a state as well. Why do we at ASU think that we can do it? And with that, I respect you guys all. I thank you all for being here. You guys have all done a great job. And I have words, but I did my time.
So who is
SJP Academy, of course, anyone. SJP supports the legislation, but as I said, anyone is welcome. Anyone can have their voice, have their opinions heard.
It's in my opinion that Bill 7 is very important, and I think Bill basically touched on it, and that's the question I was going to touch on it. I think that student government needs to be focused on things that directly affect students, and we still get that wrong. Secondly, if Senator Carr was removed from his chair position, I would have not accepted his chair position. I have told her to Bill, and I have told her to submit that when they approach me. Personally, I don't have the time, and because of elections, I would not accept. If I wanted the chair position, I would have applied for it, basically. And I apologize to the constituents on behalf of the University Affairs Department. And I look forward to working with the chairman, Senator Carter, on making the University Affairs Department a stronger committee.
Okay, so, regarding what Senator say is not at a role, or say the university does not have a role in delivering the possible investment, not the SFU. And to say that the IDF is somehow demolishing the Palestinian villages legitimately flies in the face of what the entire global community has set it up to. And so, I do my time to leave.
So, there's a point of clarification, please.
That's because it's dealing with the action of chlorine, human rights. That's what's in conflicts with human rights situations worldwide, including Israel, Palestine, and
I just want to point out that Bill was
Yes. The senator in the front said about, including all students and not attacking any student. Well, I'm a Palestinian, and by bringing this bill, you got our side of what we believe is human rights. Because I'm a Palestinian that has visited my homeland every year since I was born, and my family owns land in the West Bank. And on this land, Israel has built an illegal Jewish-only settlement on my family's land. We can't take it as a child because we are Palestinians. So when you say, oh, we want to include everyone, well, you don't let our side come to the table. You just table our bill. So, I don't know.
Lieutenant Lieutenant, I do my thing.
One thing I'd like to point out is this is speculations and conspiracy. The UN has recognized that crimes are being committed, and our bill isn't anti-Jewish, it isn't anti-Israeli, it's not against any people. This is for human rights. We're divesting from this company because they're aiding in the abuse of human rights. This isn't some idea. This is happening. This is international UN by the UN. There's lots of that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's obvious at this point that at least we all agree that everyone is curious to learn more, and that this discussion should be taken further and should talk about it. I, of course, am for the investment. My colleagues here are against it. That's okay. We can disagree. But at least we should all have the right to come to the Senate and talk about it. It should not be tabled indefinitely. And the fact that there are questions by other senators still about this bill means that that should be the case. So the bill will be brought back to Senate. It will. And at that time, when it does, I ask you all, please at least let it go to second reading so that you can discuss it. Whoever in the end, goes and says, no, we're not going to divest, or we are going to divest, that's not my problem. I just want to discuss it. I was a co-chair of the University Press meeting, and we tried so hard to engage with you. You come to USP meetings and Senate meetings, and it was too hard. But today, look at all these people, whether on SBP's side, whether on SBI's side, we're all here to hear about it. So please, it's not a good idea to just take something like this and that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we can establish a lot of this for this. I just want to address, you mentioned part of the things are real access. So I think transparency there are two things that aren't really still just saying. To look in the bill, the source of their source. I would ask him maybe after me to come with you because there's fraudulent or wrong. For example, I don't think it's correct to say that just the majority of relation states are the ones that voted against the bill. If you look at the numbers, it's usually around 297. So I think that gives you a lot more just those voting. So when we're talking about these things, we're not talking about one side. I'm not going to say one side of the voting for American citizens. And I have an opinion on this.
Your time's up.
I would say we'll go back.
Your time's up. I'm gonna put myself in the position. I'm hearing a lot of talk about how the bill needs to have the end. The bill has been tabled indefinitely. The bill in question cannot be brought up for further discussion. Just point of clarification, information, what happened. That this bill cannot be brought back up. We also figured this LGBTQ coalition. You're at your
So as we've been seeing here, we've been having, this is an open forum, this is not a time for the discussion, as Senate President Gonzalez said, the bill has been said. And you guys were getting your discussion right now. This has been going back and forth since I got here, and I got out of class and I came straight here. So I don't understand why there are two sides, and as you can see, you guys are getting your discussion, and as Jared mentioned earlier, we are welcome as FBI to have a lovely open table discussion with a third party taking discussion off the Senate floor, but we should really be focusing this time sort of university affairs that are focused on ASU. This is not something that ASU Senate has any say in the matter. So please, we were able to have the discussion you guys wanted on the floor right now, but this is not the time for this at all.
And I'd also like to say that with an open discussion, nobody is wrong or right. People go to it, and listen, and they can leave out, or they can leave thinking what they want to think. If you come to the Senate and we have an open discussion, you guys vote on it, someone's wrong and someone is right. If you vote for that investment, Israel is wrong. If you vote against that investment, Palestine is wrong. I don't believe that is appropriate for either side, and I don't want to put the burden on you guys to make either one of us wrong or right. Now you might find that.
My name is Jacob Kazanovich. I'm a junior studying engineering. And I just want to state that I personally really sympathize with Lena and everybody in SAP. We totally understand that there are two sides to this issue, and it's very complicated, and we are very sad that your family is going through hard times in the West Bank. Our family is also going through hard times in the West Bank. I have cousins live in the West Bank. It's not as easy as saying, this is mine, this is yours. There's like a lot of things that are going into it, and it's being taken care of by John Herron. It's been taken care of by people for the past 68 years. I'd like to add that Amon mentioned that he really would support peaceful resolution in the Middle East, and I'm very happy to hear that because we understand that he understands peace takes two sides. And I think it would be a great idea to look into passing a resolution that would really promote peace, such as investing in a school such as Hand in Hand, which promotes Jewish or Israeli and Palestinian students going to school together to build relationships with each other, to understand that both sides are human, that they both make mistakes, they both have human qualities, and that you can really live together for many years and have a flourishing, beautiful future in the Middle East. And I think that those types of resolutions would be a great idea. Having resolutions that are going to attack one side and are going to try to delegitimize the actions of a country would be really inappropriate for our security.
Hi, my name is Ita, and I just want to say that I agree with all the things, and actual dialogue is really to come and speak and raising this bill. We know that we sat behind the pretty words and the bill just to be focused on Caterpillar. It's actually part of the biggest movement of the DGS, which is the main thing is to not recognize the state of Israel. But this is something that is bigger. People to people, of course, we can live together, and Palestinians do live every day next to Israel. And I really sympathize with you because I'm from the West Bank, and I live my whole life next to Palestinian villages. And we're not used to, we have a lot of people from Palestinian villages who used to buy from them, but then when the second intifada came, we couldn't buy in the same route because they shot at us and of course terror. And then we couldn't go to that route, so we just built a new road, sorry for my English, but in that road, all the Palestinian villages just didn't have job anymore because we couldn't go and buy from them. So we put people to people, we can talk, we can stand together, we can have true dialogue. But if you're taking like something like this view, which is something that, let's not pretend, it's against the state of Israel and not having a true dialogue, then we're taking one group out.
Your question to Carlos.
Hello, Carlos, and I just want to say I heard arguments that this is for a company, one company, but I don't see it as just one problem. I see it as many problems. To juxtapose this, 300 miles away from here, Caterpillar is used to build bigger and taller borders, left and right, Arizona-New Mexico border, or Arizona-Mexico border. And this is to funnel people into our desert because they're looking for a better life and a better way to live. And this isn't a country that was supposedly founded on immigrants and how that they can make a better life for themselves for coming here. And I see that Caterpillar is just another puppet used by governments to impose their will on people and to separate us. And that this is something that I believe needs to be thought over, contemplated, reintroduced into Senate, and voted on to make the right decision to help people, reclaim their identity and to make,
Hi everyone, I'm Lily. I'm a junior studying accounting creative. Nice to see everyone here. I just want to say that first, we will be amending the bill and resuming it. It seems that there is also some confusion on the Senate there, that we really don't have to really definitely want that. But we are going to be introducing the bill for many reasons. First of all,
So, you're saying you are going to like a meeting, no, is that it or that?
You may include school funders and regular, that's the implied.
Okay, sorry.
but I think that it's important, aside from the fact that our funds are implicit, in conjunction with companies that don't do right, I think it's important that, to examine our good American values. The reason why we talk about other schools participating in this movement, and we are not being disingenuous, we're saying that we are participating in this movement, that is grassroots based, student it is not hierarchical, we do not listen to any instructions from the top. We think that this is important, and we talk about these schools, because we want to be politically active, we want to be more engaged citizens. I think that's the purpose of attending ASU. It reflects the ability on Jasmine Avenue student government, if you just use the bill that so many other universities are trying to compete with, just community people today. So I think that's definitely that's the real thing. I was playing right now and go to
Okay, so, argument that this is part of a bigger movement, it is just that it's BDS. And this movement has nothing to do with the legal of any country or anything. Actually, the only thing about BDS, there's 3 goals of BDS. The first goal, these are not words, I don't think you know. The first goal is the right to return refugees, and that's international law. The second goal is for the occupation to end. Occupation is illegal under the convention, so far it's all about international law. And third of all, this is about equal rights for the Palestinian citizens of Israel. If BDS was against Israel, then we wouldn't be talking about equal rights in Israel. This is not against any country or any people. This is about international laws, equal rights, and human rights. So that's part of the argument. Second of all, we keep talking about size, and that we have 2 sides of the nation dialogue, just like we've been dialogue for 60 years. We've been dialoguing, international law has never been recognized. And so we need to take action as students to impose it on companies that are profiting from winning those dollars. That's all we're doing, and we're not really doing it. And we have been living as neighbors for years, and we get to do that. My uncle does business with many Israelis, so we're proud and it's great, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. This is about human rights, and we need to stop profit. For human rights, or human rights of the public. That's the argument.
Yeah.
Okay. Senator.
I'd just like to say that all of this bill does talk about human rights. And though it talks about that, and although we're hearing that the organization is trying to show us, this is all we want. It's just about this. That's not what this organization is about. And we have to remember that. And I respect their ability to voice their opinion, and I think they would be better served, and I know that many would probably agree with me. I think that these kinds of issues would be better served in an open dialogue, in an open event that would be welcome to all students from campus, but we have to understand that there is a mission behind this bill. It's part of a larger agenda in order to politically and economically marginalize the state of this country. Okay, and this is not the kind of antagonistic measures that should be coming out of our student body. It's a very bad image to the outside world. And I'd like to yield my time to President Jordan Davis.
Yeah,
I don't want to repeat what everybody just said, but I am against any form of BPS or BPS bill that comes to the student government. We get maybe 2%. People can continue to bring bills and we can discuss them, we can vote on any bill, it's like they go out of the utility meeting. I promise you, the utility meeting, and I guarantee you that you do not have votes over there. So, I give my time to, send this up.
I'd like to motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Okay, we'll move on to bid. Announcements.
Don't see that. That's 30.
Unless it was abundantly aware, I